Magandang hapon po, Philippine Physical Education Community. Muli, this is 1PhysEd.pH and we welcome you all for our episode for this afternoon. And I'm very excited and happy for our episode as I truly believe that the guest speaker for this afternoon is one of the inspiration at the same time. Isa po sa mga humubog din kay Coach JR during college days. And bago po tayo magsimula, I would like to invite everyone to also share our episode this afternoon para po mas marami po tayong mga kasama na makaalam at may matuto para sa afternoon na ito. All right, let me do the introduction for our speaker. Our speaker for this afternoon finished her basic education at Juan Luna Elementary School and Ramon Magsaysay High School in Manila. Bachelor of Science in Education, major in Physical Education at Philippine Normal University in 1978. Magna cum laude. She finished her Master's of Education in Health Education at the University of the Philippines, Diliman in 1997 and Doctor in Educational Management at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines by 2009. She is one of the recipients of the Faculty Development Program scholarship in the Philippine Normal University in collaboration with the Universita Negeri Jakarta. And she finished her degree in 2019 for the degree Doctor of Physical Education and Sports. As an educator, she has been in the teaching profession for 42 years. Imagine that. She taught at the Division of City Schools Manila for 16 years and became a department head of the PE graduate and undergraduate programs from 2006 to 2012. Prior to her PNU UNJ scholarship, she was designated as the director of the Institute of Teaching and Learning, ITL, the laboratory school of the university. As a as a writer, she has published books in physical education and health education for basic and tertiary education. She was invited to serve as consultant in the development of K to 12 PE curriculum of the Department of Education. One of the resource person for sports manual development and writer for the coach development program of the Department of Education. A mother of two girls, was very successful. Of course, both of her children are now graduates, no, with high honors when they're still studying. And of course, I can personally, I can tell you that our speaker, no other than Dr. Salve Andes Favela, is one of the best. Without further ado, I would like everyone to welcome our distinguished speaker for this afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, physical educators. I'm happy to share with you this afternoon what we are doing at Philippine Normal University. Now, let me start by asking you if these questions are still uh, in your mind. First one is, what teaching modalities are appropriate for P in the new normal teaching and learning environment? I know you have already answered that because it has been 5 to 6 months that we are already been preparing for the opening of the new academic year. The second question is, how can teachers prepare in the volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment or the VUCA environment? Now, I know you have done this. A lot of you have been preparing, attending webinars in order for you to be able to address this concern. The third question is, can the goals of PE be achieved in the new normal environment? Your answer should be a resounding yes, because we are PE majors, we are PE teachers, we are physical educators that could be described as creative, critical, and of course, we can always adjust to the situation. And the last one is, how can teachers assess the students' achievement? In this time of pandemic, with quarantine and home base or home place activities in the remote environment would mean away from the usual classroom. And how can you assess? Of course, there should be an alignment of your program outcomes, course intended learning outcomes, to your activities, to the delivery mode, and your assessment. You can always assess the output of your students when everything is aligned and everything is well thought of prior to the opening of classes. Now, let me share with you now the focus of physical education, be it in the basic education for the K to 12. We have standards, competencies. For the standards, we have content and performance standards, and we have competencies that are unpacked in order for us to be able to align it to our own context. After the basic ed or our after junior high, they go to the senior high, and we have the hope curriculum or the health optimizing physical education. We are given here 80 hours for the whole year, and I know modules have been prepared for the senior high schools now. And lastly, but not the least, of course, is our tertiary education curriculum, which is acronymed as PATH FIT, or the physical activity towards health and fitness. Okay, what is now the focus of all of this curriculum? Of course, the when we look into our framework, the focus of our curriculum is fitness. So our goal is fitness, and now we are promoting physical activity participation from vigorous to moderate physical activity, as it is being supported by international and national organization. We are, of course, now bothered by the pandemic and the quarantine uh, learning environment. So, what can we do about this? We are ready, we are prepared, but how do we go about it? Okay, so let me start with you with the word that I use for my title of presentation now. I made use of the word calibrate. Again, calibrate is not a word that we use in education. Yes, because this is borrowed from industry. And when we say, why do we calibrate? For the industry, they always calibrate either their machine, products, whatever they have, for the following reasons. One is for accuracy of all measurements, because measurements, even appliances, even other equipment, deteriorates over time. And so they still have to calibrate to ensure that the customers are satisfied with the product. The next one is regulatory compliance, which stipulates regular calibration to make their product viable. They should be able to do it regularly because of the needs of the time or the trends. The next one is quality system requires calibration. If you want quality, you have to calibrate. Okay? Then, of course, if everything is calibrated, quality products are being produced. And the last but not the least is the safety of customers and employees. This is for the industry. But how about for education? Specifically for physical education, why do we need to calibrate in the new normal learning environment? Of course, one is to answer one of the questions a while ago, to ensure that fitness goal is achieved. Remember that when you were in elementary, high school, and senior high school, the purpose, of course, is to develop fitness. What your students have encountered in terms of the dances, the sports, the recreational activities that you made use of in order to achieve this goal of fitness is in our mind only they are vehicles to achieve fitness. Hindi po dapat nawawalay sa ating isipan na lahat ng ating ginagawa ay towards the development of fitness, which is our main goal. And we have a big role now in this time of pandemic. Okay, the second one is to ensure that the program standards are hit through the most essential learning outcomes. What do we mean by this? What do you intend your students to learn, to know, and to do with what they have learned? These are the most essential. Before we are used to memorize content, then we try to develop more our teachers on pedagogy. Now let us now combine this in in identifying the most essential learning activities, because these most essential learning activities will be delivered, will be expected of the students who will undergo the program or the subject under our care. The next one is we consider in the calibration the international, national, and local recommendations. Diba? Ano ba yun? WHO would say everybody, no one is exempted except for example, baby naman siguro, but they also have been being exercised by their parents 60 minutes per day or 1 hour of active participation in physical activity. That is a requirement for you to stay fit and healthy throughout your lifestyle, lifespan. Okay. Then the last one is that the learning activities are doable for home base or home place. Where are your students now? So the activities that we have when we had the face-to-face mode of delivery cannot be done in the classroom, in the gym. So what do? We are supposed to prepare activities that are doable at home, in the comfort of their home, with the assistance, of course, of their parents for private schools and public school as well. If they have a small space, a big space, it also depends on how we develop our activities in terms of could be modular or it could be a video that you are going to present when your students are uh, enrolled in online learning. Okay? Now, what do we calibrate? Again, may I reiterate that we calibrate our program outcomes. We do not change the program outcomes. We just try to hit what is doable now. We calibrate our standards to the extent that we identify only the most essential learning competencies. Here, the competencies are unpacked to become objectives which can be contextualized in the place of work that we have. Okay, then the immediate calibration should be done for the syllabus. So what do we mean by calibration? We have to adjust it to the situation. We hit the standards, but we modify our activities. The content are the same. Activities would vary depending on your context. But still, in your mind, we have to achieve the goal of fitness among our students. When do we do it? I said now or even before, right after the quarantine in March. A PNU community has been doing something because we're anticipating that schools will be closed and classes might not start as scheduled. So now we have to start. I know most of you have started before, probably April, May, June, July, and now you are ready. Now we have to start because the pandemic is here to stay. We are to follow the safety protocols. And of course, students and teachers stay at home because of the quarantine. Now, or we can also calibrate regularly or as needed. We know that we want quality. So whatever the trend is, whatever the needs are, we have to calibrate the things that we are doing. And of course, to address the needs and requirements of the fast paced learning and teaching environment. How do we do it? at PNU, I can share with you what we did by doing first this series of activities of constructive alignment of our courses. When we say constructive alignment, we, of course, especially for our first year students, they are new to the university, so we have to orient them. And their courses should be aligned. We offer first what are doable for the semester. For the physical education majors, we offer first our subjects that are more of theoretical courses. The, the activities that would call for group or partner activity or skill development may be presented, may be offered uh, in the next few months, not years, in the next few months or next term, when the situation permits or allows. Okay. Then, of course, we have to migrate. These are new words probably. To migrate our core syllabus to our new template. Our um, our courses are prepared based on the syllabus. This is now the syllabus is the guide of the teacher and the students on the process of or the flow of their learning process. We have to migrate to the new template which does not call only for two types of modality of teaching and learning because PNU has been outcomes based since 2014, and since 2014 we have been doing flexible learning activities. So flexible learning activities or blended learning is not new to PNU. Now we have the face to face and we have the flexible learning activity which could be online or just outside the school or in they can do it in the community, but we have to do something to again to calibrate it to the new normal. Then we have to migrate our face-to-face delivery to the flexible learning delivery, which is now the focus of my talk this afternoon. And of course, part of this is the reskilling or retooling of teachers for the technology. I know it's difficult, but we cannot do otherwise. We have even senior citizens like me should keep pace of the trends of the time. We have to learn. We cannot say no. I'm old enough. No, no one excuse because we have to teach. And if you love teaching and if you care for the students under your care, then you should learn the way our new faculty, our new students are doing. Aralin natin, kaya natin yon. Naturuan nga natin sila, although mas magaling sila, ay kaya natin ipagmalaki sila, pero let us keep pace with them. Okay? So this is now the process that we went through at PNU. Now, the Department of Physical Education becomes an institute. Now, it is an institute, it is a verticalized institute, so we cater from undergrad to graduate. So we cater to both curricular programs. Now, the first step that we did was to modify the learning delivery mode. Now, as I said, we are not new to flexible learning. So we just thought of making it better for our students this coming school year. Then here is now the recalibration of course offerings. The word calibrate again comes out because we have to say that really we are doing something out to make the curriculum, the course offerings suitable for the new learning environment. The third step is we examine the syllabus and review our course intended learning outcome. This is what we mean in this the silo would mean what we expect our students to know and to learn and to do what they have and to apply what they have learned in their daily life activity. And of course, when we try to examine the syllabus, we try to refine the topics. Yung maraming pinapagawa sa estudyante ng face to face is now limited only to the things that they can do at home. but not to the extent na hindi natin mahihit yung standard of them being active, physically active, and doing most of the time the physical activity. Okay? Then the fifth one is the mapping of the instructional delivery for PE subjects. We mapped our courses so that for the first year students, we have to introduce them a path fit one, which is already calibrated. And of course, we map the schedule of online activities. Not everyone, almost 80% of our students do not have connectivity. So we resorted to the module. We came up with module for service PE and also for our physical education specialization courses. And of course, together with the identified content activities, we have the assessment, and we offer all of this now in flexible learning toolkit, which we call Kadawian. Okay, so this is PNU. You also might have your own way of doing it in your own school. And this is just one sharing where you can probably get some tips on how you can proceed with the revision and all the changes that you are doing now. Now, let me start now with the main focus of our discussion. This path fit is the service PE that we offer for our undergrad students. This is PE1. Path fit would mean physical activities towards health and fitness. And we have PNU is also enjoying the 8 unit course for the whole PathFit program, which is a 4 courses in other universities. But at PNU, we have only 3. The first one is movement competency. PathFit 2 is exercise-based activity. And for PathFit 3, we have menu of choices of the activities that they love most. One, for movement competency, what do we want them to learn? The principles of fitness, exercise, and fitness. They should be able to apply it. Okay? Then, for exercise-based activities, the students are gearing towards self-responsibility. Learning the principles and applying it in Practice 1, they will move to Practice 2 to become responsible students for themselves, and of course, to reach their personal goal of fitness. So at the beginning, from Practice 1, they have to set goals. What do they want to be in the future in terms of fitness? Do they want to be fit all throughout their lifetime, or after teaching, during teaching, and before retirement? Do they still have that vigor to continue with their activities as a teacher? Then, of course, if they can answer that with a yes, then they have to set goals. Then they should be responsible for their own goal. If they set goal, they should envision themselves of being somebody else, not a physically fit person all throughout their lifespan. And the menu of choices is for the sustainability. If they are able to identify their interests, their needs, then the PE3 would offer them different physical activities, sports, recreation, all of this. This Pathway 3 is offered into courses in other universities. So they have specific activities that they would like to enjoy and develop, so that it would be their lifelong fitness activity. Okay, so at PNU we have 3 uh, uh, courses. PE1, PathFit 1 is 3 unit course. Likewise for PE2, and we have 2 units for PE3. This is how we do it at PNU. Now, let me share with you the process that we went through. At PNU in March, the former director, now our vice president for university relations, Dr. Lordino Vergara, our classmate, our promoter, our recruiter, promoter, our our boss in the scholarship program, PNU UNJ Scholars in Jakarta. We have been planning with him what to do in this time of pandemic. Kasasara pa lang noon ng school, March. We did not even finish our term 3. And so we started planning. Okay? So this May, June, July, there is a constant communication between PNU system. We have a system-wide faculty meeting. We have campuses in the north, in the Visayas, and in the south, in Mindanao. So North Luzon, South Luzon, PNU Visayas, and PNU Mindanao. There is a system-wide meeting for us to be able to talk about the review of our OBTEC, or outcomes-based teacher education curriculum. For physical education, it is OBPTEC, which is outcomes-based physical education teacher education curriculum. And we looked into our course syllabus. In the course syllabus, of course, we have the course description, the program outcome, the course intended learning outcomes. This is the silo that I was talking about. And now again, we calibrated it to become mellow or most essential learning outcomes, just like what DepEd did with the competencies. They only identified the most essential or the essential learning competencies. This is for the basic ed. Now we are talking about the tertiary physical education. After that, the review, we are able now to migrate the course syllabus in the new template that we did. Then, after that, we developed a template for the module. So, we started our module development with the faculty from the various campuses. Each module is represented by a faculty from the campus, so that we have one module for the whole system of the physical education. Now, proud to share with you the photo of our meeting. Uh, Here, we agreed that each one will participate in the development of a module that would cater to the different contexts of the campuses. So from the main campus to the other campuses, they only have to contextualize the activities in their in module 3, wherein they can include the hubness of their campus, indigenous games, whatever, or the cultural in aspect in the Mindanao campus. Now, in the review of the existing syllabus, these are the strong people from PNU campuses. We agree, we disagree, we more of disagreement, then we come up with a common denominator, then we agree already on what to do. So it is a long and tasking day for all of us, but at the same time, because we have to consider the uniqueness of the various campuses. So we all agreed that we start with the generic form, then they just contextualize it in their own hubness. Now, this is what I'm going to share how we calibrated most of our documents. From the old description, as I said, we did not change whatever has been approved by the Board of Regents, because these are the standards, these are program outcomes, these are the course intended learning outcomes. We just calibrated it. Okay? So the red one here would call for the flexible learning express of 18 hours in the course description, which we did for our outcome space from 2014 until we reached the time of pandemic. So this is a required number of hours of our students to go on several activities, undergo several activities, probably join a team, go to the community in order for them to be able to implement what they have learned. But in this time of pandemic, we calibrated this to this new course description. The course description is the same, but there is no, the red one is not yet to be implemented because this cannot be done in the comfort of their home because they have to go out. Now, what we place here in the new description is that, may I read? First, the course engages the students in a variety of physical activity to develop movement competencies to enhance core stability, strength, and mobility training. It includes goal setting, application of exercise principles, and periodic assessment for the development of various fitness components. The green one says the course utilizes different modalities of instructions, such as modular, asynchronous, and synchronous sessions. It is expected that the students will submit a completed module e-flexfolio at the end of the course. The flexfolio, the flexible learning express portfolio that is supposed to be hardbound, is now uh, required, but it could be done as an flex folio for those with connectivity. For those who have no connectivity, they have the module and still they have to submit a documentation of the things that they have done during the term. Okay? Now, for the program outcomes, this is a requirement. This is to ensure the quality of our graduates who will become teachers in the future. Now, the old program outcomes, we have two standards to hit: active and healthy living and advocacy and promotion. The third, under active and healthy living, we have two, but this time we have actually three, but this time we have to hit only two because PO2, program outcome number two, which says apply concepts of such as fair play, empathy, respect. This has something to do with gender and values formation. We cannot do it because there are no games to play, there are no group activities to do. So in the new calibrated program outcomes, we have only few. We have still the same, a standard one, active and healthy living, but we skip for a while the ones in red, but it says here if time permits and the situation becomes better, then we can probably continue with that. We did not change it, we just calibrated it to this one. So for standard 2 on advocacy and promotion, they have to devise, apply, and appraise a range of strategies to improve their own physical activity performance and those of others. Others here would mean their family members or the immediate family, or if they have extended family where they live, then they should be benefiting from the activity that our students are doing. Okay. Now, and of course, uh, we really hope that all of this would still be evidence, evident in the documents that our students would be submitting. Now, look how we changed, it, calibrated the course, intended learning outcome. Mabibigla kayo, even the title of our module has been changed from physical fitness to fitness in the time of pandemic. This one would tell us that really we are calibrating it to suit the needs. Because Unit 1 before the pandemic has all of these intended learning outcomes. Now, in the time of pandemic, we only ask them to do two things. Okay? Then, for Unit 2, activity-specific skills, we now have assessment of personal fitness and health. And in here, they have to make use of the PARQ, the readiness questionnaire, for the teachers to be able to identify whether some of our students are having medical problems. But of course, they are going to become teachers. But we do not deny entrance to students with disabilities because PNU cater to inclusiveness. So we cater to all. We even have blind students. We have even graduated honor students who have visual impairment who are now doing good in depth ed. And so we cater to all. So if they are not exempted from PE, nobody is exempted from PE. If they have some medical condition, our physician would recommend the types of activities that they can engage in. So napakahigpit po ng PNU, walang exempted. Even athletes are not exempted from taking the physical education courses because this is a different the activities here are different from the trainings that they are undergoing. Okay? So for three is unit 3 is activity specific na nasa third 2 and unit 2 and 3 po siya talaga yun ang pinaka-bulk. Now for our module 3, this is now the physical activity participation. We have offered a lot of activities for them. The module has pictures, the USB, the LMS, the activities are already uploaded in our LMS for those students who opted to have synchronous way of studying and learning. So these are uh, part of the module 4 also. Healthy eating habits is now part of unit 2, our module 2. And our module 4 which is equivalent to Unit 4, is now fitness in the next normal. We would like to foresee what happens next after they have engaged in Module 1, 2, and 3. Probably they are now preparing their goal for the next normal. Who knows what is the next normal? It might be now the normal thing that we are going to do. Okay, so for the next normal, they have to sustain their own fitness through active participation, uh, not only for themselves but probably to influence also their own family members. Now, this is now the summary of what we have done for from the SILO course intended learning outcome to the most essential learning outcomes. For module 1, what do we expect then? We have based on the activity, the content aligned with the activity, these are now the output that we are expecting. Only three for module 1. We expect them to have reflective essays, worksheets or plan of action, a collage for those without connectivity, and infographics for those with connectivity. For module 2, all should complete the PARQ or the physical activity readiness questionnaire. Then they also have to complete their personal fitness assessment. How do we do this one? They have the literature about how to take the BMI, that's how to do the 3-minute step test. These are doable at home. Push up, the curl ups, the plank, the sit and reach, they can do that, and they have picked the module has picture, and we have a video for this to be viewed by our students online. Then they have to complete the perceived stress scale. We do not only cater to the physical fitness. Of course, in this time of pandemic, physical activity has something to do with the mental health of our students. So it helps that if they engage in physical activity, it lessens the burden of stress. So, but still, we have to monitor them by giving them a perceived stress scale. Mamaya namin, makita namin na, oy, may nai-stress na pala kami students, to the rescue. We will recommend it to our student affairs for them to follow up. Baka may problem not only in learning, but there could be other problems that could prevent the child or the student from learning or finishing the task of Path 1. For Module 3, the requirements are only graphic organizer. I-video lang nila kung sa online or pipicturean lang nila. They may even draw whatever they can do. They can have an organizer. So even higher order thinking skills are developed, not only physical. So pag sinabi nga nating PEMS, it's physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual. So full development of the dimension of health of the person. Then they have to complete the passport. Did you know that we have passport at PNU? This is a passport used to identify, to note down the activities that they are engaged in. Maganda po ito kasi sa dami niyan, bago siya makapagpapirma, they have to finish something. The passport now is something that they can do in the comfort of their home with consultation uh, with their advisor kung ano ang pwedeng gawin to complete the passport. This they can always do the SIPA or the short incidental physical activity, which is being shared to us by Professor Calyanta of UP. Nung nasa Indonesia po kami, ginagawa na niya yan sa amin because we have to stay long hours seated in the classroom, which is a whole day class. Every 30 minutes, the Professor Calyanta would stand up and do some SIPA or short incidental physical activity. Nahawa na po kami sa kanya, kaya habang nag-aaral kami, mas okay naman kami. We can also do this in our own class. And I experimented this in my last term, although hindi I told my MA students and even the undergrad that if you are tired because our course is 3 hours, then after 30 minutes or 1 hour, if you think you want to stand up, then you can stand at the back of the classroom and do some SIPA or short incidental physical activity, then go back. Ginagawa po nila yun, nakakatulong because nabubuksan uli ang isipan, nakakatulong sa kanilang pag-iisip at pag-iisip ng maganda para sa klase. Then the last module, which is a prognostication, which is a foretelling of what is to happen to them in the next normal, we ask them to have an analytic essay. The analytic essay would include their experiences from Module 1 to Module 3, now being evaluated in Module 4. So there is a connectivity between one module to another. So maganda po yung kanya developmental yung paggawa namin ng module. And at the end, they have to submit their Flexfolio, either it be e-Flexfolio or Flexfolio. Yun po. So we have the migration template. This was the old template for the syllabus. We have here the face-to-face. You see the course learning outcome is here. We have the number of hours, course learning outcome, what do we expect them to do. We have the content, and here we have the face-to-face, which could be teacher managed or student managed, and the flexible learning activities. This is way back 2014, but this is calibrated every summer until it is now recalibrated to suit that quarantine or the new learning environment. Then, of course, the assessment should be aligned. Now, look at the instructional delivery design. The old template has only two delivery design, which is face-to-face and flexible learning activities. In the new template, we have three categories of students. Based on the survey that we did, this is now how we classify our students. We have student category 1, no capacity or no connectivity. The second category, limited or intermittent ang kanyang connectivity. And the last one is with good connectivity. Ito yung capable. So, to be able to address the three types of students, we have the module uploaded in the LMS for the student category 3. And for student category 1 and 2, we have the module. But it should be understood that all students are given the module. In case there is no connectivity for student category 1, he or she still has the module to work on. So ganun po. Kaya lang hindi namin siya nire-require i-accomplish yung mga hard copy kasi meron naman siyang connectivity wherein we can see their work in the LMS. Okay? So, in the teaching and learning delivery mode, ito po ang pwede namin i-offer sa kanila. It says here, if face-to-face is not feasible, we can use place-based or home-based, project-based learning for those without connectivity and modular. Then, with little connectivity, pwede siyang asynchronous. Meron din kami binigay na kasama yung USB. Kung nasaan din yung module, nasaan yung mga reading materials, where they can only go to, if they have their own computer, they can download it and okay, they can open and read it. And for the synchronous, it could be a webinar type, it could be a big video presentation, there could be a lecture online. So you see there is the teaching learning delivery mode, and of course we do not forget the assessment. How do we assess the things that we expect of them uh, to do these? So these assessment are being crafted to be able to measure uh, completely the products or the outputs that they have done within that term. So ganyan po ka-tedious yung trabaho namin, pero matagal na po kaya pwede na namin gamitin ngayon. Okay? So, yan po ang sample. This is the whole of it, yung bago na pong migration. So you can see the schedule, the SILO or the course learning intended learning outcome, but we have to identify here the SILO, the MELO, the most essential only are given to our students so that they can accomplish it within the time frame. So there is the mode of delivery, online, synchronous, asynchronous. Then there is the faculty activity, what does the teacher do during the week? Ito ang trabaho niya, mag-upload ng activity sa LMS, mag-inspect sa LMS, makipag-usap sa bata through cellphone, o pwede rin sa chat, pwedeng kung anong may... Lahat naman ng bata po may cellphone kahit na pinakapangit, pinakaluma, pero nakakapag-connect. So we all means of communication. Then we have the assessment and the learning resources. You can see that for every output, there is a rubric that we make use of to assess their outcome. Okay? So lahat po yan. So briefly, I can show you that. That is now the whole worksheet for our syllabus. In the end, they have to earn points because all activities have equivalent points. And we PATPIT 1, we have 400 points for all of the module 1 is 100, module 2, 3, and 4 all with 100 points. They have to earn it. We don't give grades, they have to earn points. How did they do their activity? To the best of their ability, it would be evident in the way they perform online, the way they capture, and during the testing. And of course, this is how we give the grade. Okay? So now, after that, after the syllabus, of course, we have the module development. So, faculty assignment, there is a team leader, there are members, and we created a group. Ang dami ng group namin sa chat, sa messenger, lahat na po, in order for us to communicate to the branches. So, it is a collaborative work of all. Now, I didn't say that if your school have no branches, of course, you have to collaborate with the faculty who are teaching the same courses with you. Kung may two or three, ang ganda po na kayo ay mag-collaborate, share whatever you do, what you need, and try to find out how you can still develop the fitness of your students and you can achieve the and hit the standards. Okay, so this is our template for the module and we did it. Siyempre, meron kaming target, meron kaming intended learning outcome, may konting organizer, overview, we have pre-test, yung previous knowledge, then lesson title, then the activities should be developmental. We made use of the 4A's because this is for andragogy. We are teaching an older type of student, so we have all of this. You can use 5A, 4A, 5E, 7E, whatever your division is or your school university is up to, then anything that could help the students. So this is our um, template. Now for tasking, you see the all branches are represented in one module. Module 1, module 2, 3, and 4. So these are the people who made our module. And of course, we are very, very happy that we have the ownership of the whole module for the whole system. Masaya po. So what we are doing is for our campuses to just add, revise things that could be contextualized in their own campuses. Wala pong bawal, basta nararapat, equivalent to the activities that we have identified. If they can gather same data, then that's it. Hindi pwede kung ano na lang. Hindi po pwede, kaya na ng quality. Okay, so this is now the sample module that we did. Fitness in the new normal. This is module 4. This is already foretelling what is to happen. So we ask our students about their fitness journey from module 1 to module 4. Okay? So there is our welcome. Para kayong, we are just interactive po siya. Welcome, ganyan. Then we have the pre-test, the introduction. Then the last, are you familiar, PE teachers, with this? Mens sana in corpore sano, meaning to say, a sound mind in a sound body. Okay? Then we have the activities for the students. Yan po ang kanilang gagawin. May mga worksheet. Then there is the rubric at the end. There are readings. There are challenges for fitness travelog. Meron pa kaming ganyan. Talagang binago namin ng gusto. Then of course, the content of the flex folio. The contents are enumerated here, from module 1 to module 4. You can do this also in your own portfolio. This is now our module. This was the old one prepared by Professor James Bailon. This was the proposed cover, but we came up with this. Our point person here is Dr. Jumel Del Rosario, which is who is our junior faculty na napakagaling naman. Okay? So this is what we do. As teachers of physical education, we should always remember that change is inevitable. Diba? You can work alone, but it is always better to work with colleagues who are teaching the same course. More heads are better than one. Remember that. Then if you have your best practice, they too have their own best practices. Now sharing is better than keeping it to yourself, so everyone will benefit. So teachers in tertiary level, pwede rin sa basic ed, pwede natin gawin to. As always, sinasabi ko sa mga estudyante, pag meron kayong galing, i-share nyo para dumami pa yan. Pag tinago nyo, kasama nyo mamamatay. Wala makikinabang. Sayang ang talent na ibinigay. Okay? So we have to share. Okay? And of course, every school year is a new beginning. Calibrate your silo, your syllabus, your course content, activities, and assessment tools. Hindi pwedeng taon-taon yun na lang. Now, we have a new learning environment. We have to address it. We have to learn what we have to learn. Do not say no because this is now the challenge. Okay, PE teachers, keep all your manuscripts. Malay nyo, later, you can publish your work. Okay? And this is how we should be seeing ourselves later on. From being a plain teacher to a department head, to a dean, to somebody in the tertiary level, and to be a writer, a publisher. Malay nyo. And you see, majority of our junior faculty, our new graduates, our not so new graduates, just like those who are running this 1PhysEd Philippines, there are very young, enterprising teachers who are making use of technology or making use of what they learn to share. Diba? So every one of us now, everyone is benefiting from this type of webinar, which we are now sharing with everybody. Okay? So stay happy and motivated in teaching what you love most. And I know you love physical education. So be happy in teaching it. Okay? So the key word for successful tertiary PE is that of collaboration. Okay? We collaborate because if we collaborate, we share our resources, our ideas, time, and best practices. After sharing, we learn, di ba, from each other. And if we learn from each other, our community, we sustain our own communities of practice or our COP. Our organization, we share everything. Uh, we help each other to promote our specialization, our field of specialization, which is physical education. So, with this, I would like to leave this one. This came from the PowerPoint of Dr. Edralin, our faculty also, a retired faculty. When it says here, maganda to eh, physical education teachers are like normal teachers. We're all like normal teachers. Only we are stronger and smarter. Tama po ba? I know tama. Yes. And thank you, everyone. I hope I shared something for you, and you can see that I'm very proud to be part of the Philippine Normal University. And of course, thank you kay JR as ang bumubuo nito, kay sa dalawang Joshua, kay Eunice, sino pa ba ang mga tao behind this? This, your advocacy will go a long way. Congratulations and God bless. And to all participants, I'm ready to answer questions if there are questions. Maraming salamat po.
Magandang hapon sa bawat isa and congratulations, Doc Favela. I think marami po sa ating mga comments na dumating sa hapon na to ay they're very happy because like what I've mentioned, most of the time, most of the topics that we're presenting here at 1PhysEd.pH talks about basic education. This is, I think, the first session we have now wherein we're featuring topic for tertiary level. Coach Joshua, do you have any questions given by our participants? Please post it in the so far most of them are saying thank you. Maraming salamat daw po. And Doc, just to let you know, very ang ating mga participants mo are coming from different parts of the country. Meron po tayong taga Caraga,
Wow.
meron din pong mga taga Mindanao. So I think most of them really or all of them really get something which they can use in their respective institutions. I think siguro 10 seconds tingnan na tayo. And also I would like to do shout out to Dr. Jennifer De La Cruz. She's the one who messaged me to make this topic possible. So shout out to Dr. Jennifer De La Cruz from one of the university here in Metro Manila. Okay, do we
Maraming
have
salamat. I
do
hope
we-
we were able to help. Continue your advocacy, JR, and the rest of the group.
yes. Okay, I think wala na po tayong mga tanong. I have some few announcement lang. Doc, Coach Josh will put you at the backstage po. We're gonna talk to you after these short announcements po. Okay?
Okay,
Oh,
thank you.
okay. All right. Once again, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga participants for this afternoon. Before I end, I would like to grab the opportunity rin po, of course, to promote our first ever international EdTech webinar, virtual workshop, and certification. Okay? Marami po kasi kaming natatanggap na question and we would like to mention it now. We would like to grab this opportunity. And of course, si Coach JR po bilang mukha ng 1PhysEd.pH, hindi lang naman po ako ito, pero pero ako po ay tawag dito, marami pong mga kasama tayo from different schools and some of them din po hindi lang taga Metro Manila who's helping us with this advocacy. So regarding our first international EdTech webinar, virtual workshop, and certification, I would like to announce the following details. Of course, the title na mention ko na nga po sa inyo. And why are we having this? Of course, change is inevitable na mention po ng ating speaker this afternoon. And nakita po natin the Industrial Revolution made an impact in the field of education. And because of that, things are really changing rapidly. Are we gonna wait for the time na na maiwan tayo? And that's the reason why we want to bring this to you. But we want to make it meaningful. We want it to be something, an experience which we will assure that participants will learn. That's why even for us, it's really challenging to have a virtual workshop We want it to have that way so that we ensure that the participants will really acquire the skills in order to use this into practice in teaching physical education. The session will be divided into three. The first day will be the plenary session where we have known speakers, Jared Robinson, Dale Sidebottom, and Carl Conlef. Okay, we're so happy that they will be sharing things that they know because they've been doing this practice for a very long time. And of course, ako po yung magiging pang fourth plenary session. Bakit? Dahil po, gusto ko po na connect po itong mga konsepto nila in the setup of the Philippines. Baka po kasi magkaroon ng gap with the mga first world countries po sila, no? I want to connect the gap. And because of that, I'm the last plenary session. The following Saturday rather, will be the virtual workshop. For the virtual workshop, expect that the speakers will teach you how the question, how to use it, how to integrate this, how are you gonna utilize this material or edtech tool that they will be sharing to you. And of course, may output po kayo na ipo-produce din doon para ma-ensure po talaga na nakuha po natin paano po siya gamitin. And of course, ang ating third day po will be the certification day wherein we're gonna have 1 o'clock to 2:30. We're gonna give an assessment to ensure that you really learn something from the 2 days event natin. Plus this is the day na may isang linggo po kayo before ng certification where you will submit your outputs. Now, if you manage to accomplish that, napasa po natin, then you will have +1 certificate which is to recognize the certificate of achievement that you are 1PhysEd EdTech educator plus the badge that you can use din po, no? What are the other how are you gonna avail this? Of course, you need to go to our Facebook page. All the details and there are there already. At the same time din po, meron po tayong mga partners in this organization who will be willing to answer all your questions and inquiries regarding this event. And of course, benefits, of course, you have certificate for each training for each session, and you have certificate for the entire conference. You have a chance to get the certificate of achievement and the 1PhysEd EdTech Educator badge. Kung sakali naman po, meron pa rin badge na ibibigay. And of course, you will be given the materials. And of course, ito po, i-announce ko na aside from that, Coach JR together with the team of 1PhysEd.pH will give consultation on how will you use this later on sa inyo pong mga respective institution. Therefore, magkakaroon po kami ng araw wherein you can consult how can we help you na gawin po ninyo ito sa inyong schools. Again, wag na po natin antayin. Ito na po ang changes na ating hinaharap. That's why kahit itong mga alternatives na ginagawa natin ngayon, things are changing every single day. That's why we hope that you be part of this because we want you to best PE teacher that you can be. And that's all po. This is Coach JR again of 1PhysEd.ph. Coach Josh? I think walang sound, Coach Josh. Sayang, walang sound.